as my business has grown, even at like $1 million in terms of revenue, yeah, you yourself are probably not bringing home any more than about 300K of it. Yeah. Once you've taken out expenses, once you've taken out tax, right? And you know, I'm definitely living in a taxable state, 40% personal tax, 25% corporation tax, corporate tax, as you call it out in the States. Most of you are going to be in the same sort of situation. Once you've taken out your expenses over the year for your business, once you have taken out and assigned, because you always need to reinvest in your business, and whether that's in mentoring, whether that is in your marketing, and you will need to have a budget for your marketing, right? So that you can keep on advertising, you can keep on attracting a new flow of people. Actually, even at $1 million, your business is still very much needing money, right? It's very much needing money. And even at you bringing home 300K per annum, you have got a nice life at this time, but at that point, but honestly, you still have a lot of stress as far as money is concerned, right? You can still bank money, you can still save money, but at 300K a year, your attention is probably going much more into you managing your money, right? Rather than in you creating new money. So money is actually a liability, all right? Unless you are reinvesting, flipping it, putting it into something else, right? Otherwise, what happens is you become a slave to this money. And it's like, okay, I've bought the house, I've got a big mortgage, right? I've got dependents on me, I've got kids, right? I've got family, I've got a sick mom who's getting older and getting sicker that I need to look after, right? That 300K, it starts to look pretty small. And I'm wanting it to look small for you because I want you to expand your vision. That slip on the ice, that car crash, right? That unexpected thing that happens, and God wishing it never happens to any of us, but that one thing, right? That tax, the IRS on your back, you owe 600K, wiped, right? All of your savings, everything that you have put aside diligently, wiped, gone. So you can't rely on the bits that you've got put aside, if you have got bits put aside. And I'm going to tell you that if you are one of those people who has got savings put aside, you are in a much more dangerous position than the ones of you who are here massively in debt, right? Not got any savings, and you're in a really, really, really tight place. And I know that for sure because I've been in both camps, right? And I know the Ariella that got me out of the situation where I was in the shit, right, was a lot more like my talents damn well had to come online. They had to, because there was no back door, right? There was no safety net. There was no cushion. I had to get into my A game. I had to do the things that I was absolutely in resistance of. Things like being seen, speaking in public, learning how to sell, getting good at selling, right? Being a stand for my audience, you know, getting really opinionated and learning what my message was and not giving a shit whether I was liked or not liked. You know, I had to get into serving, in other words, right? Authentically, as opposed to staring at my navel and being super self-conscious of what people thought of me. Yeah, because you're in a place where you have to bring your A game. It's the ones of you who are in a little bit more of that comfort zone place, right? Where you've got a few savings in the bank, you know that you've got, you know, regular money coming in from somewhere, or even in your business, you're at the 100K level or 200K level, because at this point, you know that you can consistently create some wealth for you, right? So you don't have that squeeze on you. Yeah, you're not in a container that is designed to bring out the best in you. You're in your comfort zone container, which is designed to completely keep you stuck, keep you slow, keep you at the same level, keep you playing small. And you're just going to get bored, honestly, because you're stopping growing, you're stopping expanding, you're churning out the same shite that you've churned out for a long time now. And you've stopped developing and releasing new talents within yourself, which I think is always exciting for us to see when we reach new levels of our own growth. And I actually think that's what the spiritual community want the most. It's to grow, right? So I'm just bringing into the consciousness of this group, when we're talking about creating 10K, how tiny and minute that number is, and how tiny and minute $1 million a year is as well. And $1 million a year probably feels like, for some of you, a massive stretch. And that viewpoint alone of it feeling like a massive stretch is what's going to stop you from ever hitting it. So I'm wanting to help expand your vision and expand your consciousness so that you can receive more, and so that you can accelerate your earnings more quickly, and so that you can deliver more into this world. Because even at $1 million a year, you can't support your family properly. All right? Something happens to somebody in your family. Somebody goes through a really difficult time, right? Or maybe it's somebody in your extended family, which is also your family, by the way, because they're in your space. And we tend to think about who we are responsible for or who we can affect. And it's like, okay, me, my partner, kids, if we have any, and I'm looking after my mum and dad, and maybe a sibling if they're lucky, and that's it. And that's not the way that it works on planet Earth, right? If you are a creator, and you are all creators, you all have people in your space. Why not look after your partner's family? What happens if your partner's sister falls into a heavy depression, can't work, is suicidal, and is freaked out because she doesn't know how to pay her rent, and she's getting worse and worse and going down a cycle? This actually happened to me, right? It happened to me years ago, where my boyfriend at the time, his brother killed himself. Yeah, because he got into such stress about money and about going into debt and how he was going to look after his family. And he hung himself, right? And his wife came home from doing shifts, because they're all working their freaking arse off. His wife came home from a shift and found him hung at the bottom of a staircase, cut him down, while their 3-year-old is asleep in her bedroom, right? And the 3-year-old came out of the bedroom as she is trying to resuscitate her husband, who has got bile coming all out of his mouth and who is dead as dead on the floor. And she's screaming at her 3-year-old little girl, get back in your bedroom, right? And as we know, 40, 50, 35 plus, 35 to 42 years of age for a man, the suicide numbers are off the charts, right? And at the core of a lot of this, it's money. It is money, lack of Also, divorce rates. Most people are getting divorced because there is financial pressure within the relationship, right? The woman doesn't feel safe. The man feels so much pressure to be the provider, right? There's a clash. The woman has to be the provider, then that doesn't work, right? There's all of this stress which is created because of money. So what I'm bringing into the consciousness of this group is how small 10K is and how small $1 million is, and how much your vision needs to grow by, and how much your ability to be able to support the people around you needs to grow by. Because if I knew what I know now, how many years ago? 18 years ago, when my boyfriend's brother killed himself, I would have just given this guy 50 grand, right? Or whatever he needs to take the freaking pressure off of him, so he didn't have to be the latest statistic. And we all know people like this in our families and in our extended families. You think about your circle now of influence and who's in your space, whether it's family members, whether it's friends, right? Whether it's your partner's family, people that you love, people that you're close to. And there's people struggling, there's people suffering. And a lot of the time, money will fix it. It will help, right? So if you've come here today and you're excited about creating 10K, I'm just going to say to you, you need to expand your vision much wider, much wider. If you are true about contributing and making an impact and being of service while you're here, and I believe you are, then the number one thing that you need to do is to learn how to create money, and a lot of it, right? So that you can actually help people, help yourself, you know, and truly contribute to the world.